Okay, I have to apologize. A disruption in the force today as a Star Wars reference. And again, I'm sorry. It's one of those things where I'm having some internet issues at my house. And I went round and round over the weekend. And you probably noticed I wasn't here on Friday. And it's crazy. It's like it's here and then it's gone. I did see a truck down the street. So I'm just wondering, if that's what happened. But it was kind of funny because I was talking about the two things that I said that, I don't want to talk about. And that's religion and politics. And then, boom, it goes out like, oh, they pulled the plug on him. They heard him talking about it. But those are the two things that I really, I would avoid talking. I don't understand really what happened from when I was growing up, when politics was something that people were fiercely private about. Don't you remember that? I mean, if you're my age, or maybe you're a little bit younger than me or a little bit older than me, you may remember. Politics was quietly talked about in small circles. It wasn't something that you broadcast. It wasn't something that you felt like you had to get in somebody's face and tell them about. That to me is something that's a new thing. And when I say new, I mean, 10, 15 years over that time, certainly with the development, I think, of social media, which gives everyone a platform, right? And so it's like, well, I have it, I'm going to use it, and you're going to hear it. But now we've gone from being just a social media platform to where we feel like we have to tell people face to face. But again, just me. I like I said, I just grew up with the idea that that's why there was a curtain on the voting booth, because you went in and you pulled the curtain. People weren't supposed to see what you were voting. And now it's people, I think people, if they could, they would come out waving whatever party, hey, straight ticket, you know what I'm saying? Just to let people know what they did. But again, times, they do change. And do you believe things are cyclical? Because I guess I'm one of those people that kind of believes, that's the way it is. And it goes in cycles. And maybe we come back around to that. I don't know. Maybe something happens that forces us back around to that. Again, I apologize for the interruption. If you're just checking in this morning, again, I'm Dan Gresham from KFDM TV and the Morning Show, and a Southeast Texan, proud of it. Been watching some of the comments coming in this morning, and they continue even when we dropped off the internet. They're still there. So let's say good morning to some different folks who took the time. Paul, thank you for starting your day with us this morning. Hi, Vanessa. Sherry is here from Nederland this morning. Amber, good morning to you as well. Aquita is here this morning from Winnie. Also, I see our friend Carlene Perdue is here this morning. Rachel Marshall says, good morning, Dan. Family in Alabama, Fairhope and Saraland. How fast is Sally moving? Not very. In fact, I'll go ahead and show you, Rachel, what's going on with Hurricane Sally, because I have a feeling you probably won't be the only person who's asking about that. And that is the current image of what is or was. I guess it's still a hurricane now, but I think it's losing some of its strength pretty quickly. And I don't know how to approach this necessarily, but to say, I'm not a big fan of these infrared, and I know that meteorologists love them. But when you see these bright colors, do you not interpret that to mean intensity, right? Oh, it must be terrible right there in the orange part. And that may be true, but this is really has to do, as I understand it, and again, just being an observer sitting next to meteorologists, it has to do with cloud tops and temperatures. And this has nothing to do with the amount of rain that's falling. Not necessarily, as I understand it. Anyway, so to me, sometimes these images can be a little bit more confusing than, say, something more like, let's see if we can find a current radar image. I thought I saw one just a couple of minutes ago. To me, that's more what I prefer to see, because it's like, okay, this is where the rain is falling. And now that I say that, I'm not going to be able to say. And there's some of the video. This is on the Facebook page that you can go and see what's happening this morning. This, I think, was in Gulf Shores, Alabama. So Gulf Shores, Pensacola, some of those areas, Destin, Yeah, some of those seaside, some of Southeast Texas, Southwest Louisiana's favorite spots to go to on vacation. They're the one that are getting, and the wind is an issue, but it's really going to be the rainfall totals that are going to be potentially problematic. And here's the latest look at that. See, where most of it is offshore, this is yesterday, but look at that, 23 inches. They've already had 8.5 just outside of Pensacola. So as this thing moves on shore and it drags more moisture with it, then you could talk about 20, 30, 40 inches of rain out of this system. And I think those of us in Southeast Texas pretty well understand what that means. But I'm pretty sure that we have, and people always complain about flooding, and I understand that because it is traumatic, but we have a drainage system in Southeast Texas that's, I think, as good as any in the country, because we can get 10, 15 inches of rain, and you're not talking about flooding everyone's home. Other parts of the country, that's not the case. I mean, we have spent millions of dollars in Southeast Texas developing drainage districts that are aimed at getting water out as quickly as possible. And they do a pretty great job. Yes, there are very few systems that can handle 50 inches of rain. But ours has done a great job. And yes, we have had flooding, but they also will tell you that there is a certain physical amount of rain that is hard or if not impossible to get rid of. Hi, Joette. I hope you have a good day going for yourself. Barbara, good morning over in Louisiana. I hope you're in a good situation over there, Barbara. So many of the people I know in Louisiana are struggling right now, and my heart goes out to them. You reach that point where it's like, is anybody even paying attention anymore? And they're looking for ways to cook and things to get around. And I gotta hand it to the people who are there. I know World Central Kitchen is still doing meals over there. I know my friends from Madison's and are over there. They've got interest in Lake Charles, but still they're handing out free meals every day, as are a lot of churches from Southeast Texas. So I think we need to applaud them. We need to be encouraging them because these people still need it. Hi, David. Good morning to you. Shannon is up with us this morning, as is Judy. Mark is here from Hemp Hill this morning. Hi, Diane. Marie Jackson, always good to see you. Suzanne Guidry, love shirt and tie. Well, thank you. It's kind of like no shirt, no tie, no service here on the update. John, good morning to you. And also Cynthia, good morning to you as well. Dane's Dan, good morning. Thanks for getting up. Delina King has joined us this morning as well. And again, you can go, and once you're a member of the community, remember, you don't have to just talk to me. You can talk to each other on our Facebook page. This is what we've created. It's ours. So let's, be involved with each other. If there's somebody you want to reach out to, call them by name and let them know. And of course, do me a favor, if you will, just give me a like, the thumbs up, or if you don't like, give me the sad face, the angry face, just so it's kind of my way of knowing where you stand and what's going on and how you feel about things this morning. All right. Also, Al Alford is watching this morning up in Jasper. Good morning, Al. Hope things are good up in the lakes area. Yeah, somebody was, can I tell you a little personal secret? Somebody was asking about shirts and ties. This particular tie, I don't think is one of them, but do you know where I've started getting all my ties now? Estate sales. I really do, because nobody else wears ties. Even dressing up for a lot of people, a lot of folks to go to work, a lot of guys, it means putting on a dress shirt. And ties are not part of the attire. So I find now that my wife will go, well, I'm going to go to a estate sale. And I'm like, oh, I don't really want to see a lot of antiques, but I'll go. And then I get there and I'm like, wow, look at all these. And, again, being a little on the chinchy side as I am, it's like, why would I spend $50 on a tie when I can get one at an estate sale for a couple of bucks? And they always, I don't know, they're always kind of unique and different. And it's just kind of now that I've given away my secret, I probably won't be able to find them anymore. But anyway, we appreciate everybody getting up this morning. Let's check out what's going on. We have more than just a hurricane to talk about this morning. So let's jump over to KFDM.com. Your first stop on the internet for the latest headlines across Southeast Texas. And this morning, among our stories, of course, is the hurricane. But also this morning, it's about schools. It's about the fact that you have some schools that are struggling mightily because of COVID-19, and you have other schools that seem to be cruising along without much problem. The yin and the yang of it. Because at Hampshire Finette, you had more than 100 students that had to be quarantined to the point that they had to go to online learning. And that's where they're at this morning. And of course, you have contact tracing going on. And if you don't know what that is, it's when somebody comes down or tests positive, and then the health department gets involved, and they try to make sure that they can find everyone who's been in close proximity or contact with the person who tested positive, so that they can let others know that you've been exposed and that you probably should quarantine to help other people. Now, but you go on the other end, Catholic school superintendent in Beaumont saying that they feel like they have the protocol in place to protect their students, whether it's face-to-face or online options, and that they just really have not they've had 4 confirmed cases throughout 5 Catholic schools across Southeast Texas. So they don't see it as being much, or haven't seen it as being much of a problem. Lamar State College Orange, there's the Hampshire Finette story that I was talking about on the other end of the spectrum, where you have, and some adults expressing concern saying, hey, I went to that football game on Friday night. There weren't a whole lot of people that were social distancing there. And some people suggesting they weren't wearing masks. And again, the end result being not necessarily this COVID-19 cases, but concern about others. So you can certainly go and read about that. You can also read about a couple of an interesting bust that was made in Orange County yesterday involving not just cocaine, but thousands of dollars in counterfeit bills as well. That was made yesterday in Orange County. So all these stories you can find KFDM.com. And of course, also talking about the flu shot, which the governor was stressing yesterday. I also mentioned that you can go to the KFDM Facebook page where we post those stories and more as well. All right, I do want to bring to your attention one other issue, and this is the wildfires out west. I think we tend to focus maybe on the hurricanes. I think we talk about COVID. But this is, if you're not really watching this, look at this. This is an entire neighborhood that is gone. Just completely gone. And look at it. Look how close it is to the interstate, major highway. And this is happening in California, Washington, Colorado, Oregon. And then if you go watch the video, that's when it's really amazing. By the way, this is from the folks at New York Times this morning. I just grabbed images. Because I saw it this morning and how it wiped out the entire neighborhood of this, and entire towns. Look at it. It's like the whole horizon. It's like the sky is on fire. This is in, as you can see, Whitman County, Washington. Talking with one of the first responders there. Boy, talk about, they have got to be exhausted. This has been going on for days.
Clothes,
residents have been,
everything.
Some of them called in the middle of the night, get out, and they have to leave, and then they come back to ashes. I always think that every part of the country has some kind of weather cross to bear, right? Whether it's tornadoes or earthquakes or hurricanes, and now out west, it's these wildfires. So again, let's don't turn or be ignorant or blind to what's going on in other parts of the country, right? All right, I got to do a little business from yesterday. I talked about King Ranch casserole while we were finishing up yesterday. And somebody was like, hello. Hang on, let me stop this for you. They were like, you forgot to tell us where we can get the recipe. Well, let me tell you where you can get it. You can go to Texas Monthly, And TexasMonthly.com did a really, I think, courageous thing at the beginning of the pandemic. They said, you know what? We're going to make TexasMonthly.com free. We're not going to charge anybody for the rest of the year, which I thought, again, very courageous on their part, because a lot of people are looking for how do we sustain ourselves, and they took a chance. But you can find this King Ranch casserole that I was talking about, one of my favorites I've ever had, and I've had a lot of them, but it's right there. See, you can go in just like I did, do TexasMonthly.com, King Ranch casserole, and the recipe will pop up. All right. And if you're just joining us for the very first time and you have no idea how we do this, we like to talk about what's going on. We like to talk about the headlines. We like to offer up, opinions and or point of views. But we also always like to end on something that's a little bit lighter. So today I'm going through, and here's the way that I would recommend, if you really want to keep up with what's going on, don't depend on one source. Don't be one of those people that, I only read, I only look at Facebook. And then you take away from that these are news headlines. They're not. They're stories people post. You don't even know where they come from. You don't even know if they're real. Let's be honest. Anybody can post anything on social media. And it can, for all the world, it can look like it came from somebody who was dedicated to trying to make sure they were presenting the truth, right? And that they've done, because I got into an argument with somebody the other day about unnamed sources, and I was trying to explain to them, that unnamed sources do not mean that it's taken simply on somebody's word. When somebody says they're an unnamed source, if you're a good journalist, then your job is to make sure that, you can verify what they say. You have to have two credible sources to be able to make something, accurate or at least have some modicum of truth in it. So be careful what you read. That's one thing. The other thing, do not limit yourself. Wake up in the morning, go, because all of these things are available to you now. If you're really hungry for news, go look. Houston Chronicle, NPR. You say, well, I don't like, because I use the New York Times, and people go, New York Times, liberal newspaper. Well, that may be your opinion on it. And if that's the case, then go find another newspaper that is more suited to your taste. Personally, I believe that I want a point of view that includes a lot of different, places. I may go to the New York Times, but I may also go to the Wall Street Journal. I may also go. So all of these things are almost always available 24 hours a day on the internet. You do your homework, all right? Don't let somebody else do it for you. I say that all the time. You do the homework. You do the heavy lifting. Best thing you can do for yourself. So anyway, today, my day always starts with going through a variety of different things, looking at all these different websites, whether it's local, Houston Chronicle, Dallas Morning News, San Antonio Express, and I can Fort Worth Telegram. And the day goes on, you read more and more. Or you can go to an aggregate where they put it all together for you, and you just go and read the stories. Either way, educate yourself. So I'm going through all my stuff this morning, and I ran across this one, and I just have to share it with you this morning because I think it's a great way to end a midweek edition of Dan's At Home Update. And that is from the Houston Chronicle this morning. The byline is the Chronicle staff, so I like that to begin with. Texas city names you're probably mispronouncing. And you may say to yourself, but Dan, I'm a native Texan. Well, I've been here all my life. There ain't no names I don't know. Well, I can say that too. And as a journalist, a broadcaster for more than 40 years in the state of Texas, you would think that I know all of them. But I'm willing to admit that that's probably not true. But they go in and they show you all the pronunciations. Like a lot of people mispronounce Buddha. But there it is. Buddha. Or Nacogdoches. That's another one that people struggle with. But so just again, take your time, go look for yourself. Is it New Braunfels or New Braunfels? It's New Braunfels. Is it Pedernales or Pedernales? Pedernales. So there you go. And there's another one. Refugio or Refugio? Now, I've heard it so many different ways, right? Waxahachie. That's one that people look at and just stop. Waxahachie. Especially if you're not from the state of Texas. So imagine those of us who are Texans, and he goes on, Palestine or Palestine? Which one is it? Palestine or Palestine? Well, if you're in the Middle East, it's Palestine. If you're in Texas, it's Palestine. Right? And then the list goes on. And I just want to show you, wacko. We do have one here in Southeast Texas that I think is a good one that they included. And that is right. Oh, I like that one too. Green is always a good one. Another one is Iowa in Louisiana, not Iowa. Oh, come on. We don't have to do the Dumas thing, right? I think most of us know it's not the other way pronounced. It's here, I promise. I saw it when I went through these. And if you want to guess which town it is it is it Comasneal or Comasneal? How do you pronounce it? I'm just kind of rolling through these so you can see all the different ones that they show you. There it is. W.T. Comasneal was one of the first train conductors on the Texas and New Orleans Railroad, also known as the TNNO line. So is it Comasneal or Comasneal? There you go. The pronunciation, again, of Texas towns. You may thought you knew how, but were you really? All right, check it out. Again, Houston Chronicle, chron.com. I'm telling you, it's a good one to bookmark if you want to keep up with what's going on. All kinds of sources out there to give you good information. Let's remind you the best sources in Southeast Texas, of course, KFDM and KBTV Fox 4. You can always go to this page you're on now, the Facebook page. We'll always try to keep you updated on what's going on. Also, Twitter. You can follow me. That's Morning TV Dan. And if you want, you can subscribe to the YouTube page, the YouTube channel, which is Dan's at Home, and we post all of our updates there. So go check it out for yourself. Again, we appreciate your taking the time this morning to spend a few minutes with us. We hope that you'll go out and make it a terrific day. Reach out to somebody, take care of your friends and neighbors, and remember, you're not in this by yourself. All right? It doesn't have to be me. It can be a bigger picture. Just all it takes is a little work on your part. All right. So again, go out and make it a terrific day. Look forward to seeing you back bright and early tomorrow morning. Till then, be safe.